Okay, so I had some questions this week about the prosperity thing and the prosperity broadcast. You guys know I'm doing it with New Vision, and we started this with the advanced healing class. I've sent out multiple emails letting you guys know you can participate if you like. It's definitely optional. We've had some really pretty incredible testimonials. That might have been one from Ron, but he didn't know it. So basically, this is to answer the questions. Some people said, well, what if I get in now and they didn't understand the process of how the numbers are sent or the frequencies are sent or what's being sent? And I know in an email, all of that doesn't really translate, but basically the way this is working is every week, depending on what the focus is, I'm sending out affirmations, flower essences, GG numbers, quantum K numbers, a series of things that we talked about in the advanced workshops. If you guys didn't take that workshop, it's available to take as a recorded version. And but this is stuff we've explained in detail. And the first month, which has been January, I've been focusing on money and prosperity, money in the bank, money out of nowhere. And everyone that was in the advanced healing workshop was extended to January 31st, which is about to end. So if you want to sign up, you can. You're not missing anything, because what I'm doing is I'm taking the whole big long document, which I think was either 13 or 15 pages of items being broadcast. And that's what I started with. And then I'm building on top of that. So basically what's happening is the longer you're in the broadcast, the more things you're receiving. So the first week of January, people got like, I don't know, it was about 10 or 12 things added. And then the second week, another like 10 or 12 things. And then the third week, the fourth week, I sent out in the newsletter yesterday or Sunday what that list is so far. That's not the full month, but it's just so far. And we're going to talk about tonight how you can use those numbers or any numbers or anything you want to do a custom thing on the Blue Dot app, which that question comes up every week anyway. So we're going to cover it tonight on how to do that. It doesn't matter if you're using our numbers, but so then that brings up another question. If we're broadcasting the numbers to you guys, then why do you need to do it? Okay, so my answer to that is two reasons. One is, let's say your whole life you have thought of yourself as an unlucky person. You're the person that says, I never won anything by calling into the radio station. That was like in the 80s and 90s. I've never won anything. I've never run a raffle. Your just mindset is you're not lucky. Okay, so you don't even participate in things that would be like luck things, like Vegas, let's say. Then that's been broadcast already for January, is being lucky, feeling lucky. But let's say that's kind of your identity, is being unlucky. Then you might, besides the broadcast I'm doing, you might want to take that number and use it with the Blue Dot app, or you might want to say the number or say it out loud or post it somewhere that you see it, or you might want to write it on your forearm, which is like what I do. I'll typically take a pen or Sharpie and write it on my forearm, like just to keep it in my field of vision. You can write it with lipstick on your bathroom mirror, like whatever it takes, but you're basically, anything that you do, including broadcasting a number to yourself, maybe not the whole list, but like one number, anything that you do from the emails that Maria sends out, which are the support emails to prosperity, are going to help you, because your involvement is huge. Like if you do any of the little homework exercises, well, they're not really homework, they're like ideas, like putting money in envelopes and those kind of things that Maria sent out, those are going to reinforce. Like someone a long time ago told me to always keep $100 bill in my wallet. I've always had $100 bill in my wallet for a very long time. Because even if there's no money in the bank, it represents there's money in the bank, there's money in the wallet, there's little tricks, they're like tricks, but it doesn't matter. Like if it's a trick, it works. It you want to change your mindset from being unlucky to lucky. And in it, yeah, I just saw someone say it encourages manifestation. Exactly. But your involvement is huge. And let me explain why. I have some clients that hire me to work on their son or their husband or whoever, and I do that. I don't love doing it, because if that family member has zero involvement, like they're not involved in the process, they're not having no conversation with me, they're not changing their diet, they're not taking any supplements, They're literally not involved. How much do you think they're going to change in their health compared to the person who is involved? I mean, that's obvious, a lot. So with your involvement with your own success and prosperity, the action steps is huge, because we can broadcast things to you all day long, but if you're walking around thinking you're unlucky, then, you know, that's a mindset. I mean, we have to kind of change that mindset. So anything that you do to plug in is definitely going to be beneficial. And then the other thing I would say is that sometimes it's just a nice little reminder. You know, it's just like the little things that you do on your end every week is like a really good reminder. And then the last question I want to answer, some people said, well, is it just about money? I'm more interested in my health. You know, I have money, or, you know, that's not really what I'm interested in. And we kind of talked about this after the advanced class, but I want to say it again. It is everything. It is mood. It is being happy. It's being fulfilled. It's manifestation of what your life work is, or what your health issues are, or about balance, or nutrition. So it's not just about money. There's a focus every month about something, but in the background or the current is health. You know, what is supporting health, what's supporting, I can't send numbers for weight loss, like for example, because not everybody needs to lose weight. Maybe someone needs to gain weight. So it has to be something balancing that would be good for everybody or supportive of everybody. So I can't be like, okay, we all want to lose 20 pounds, because that's not actually true. So those things I can't really do with a group, but everything else is open game. Everything else about feeling happy and supported, whether it's with your health or your relationships, your communication, everything, your eating habits, you know, craving healthy foods, that could be good for everybody. How would everyone like to crave healthy foods versus crap? You know, so there are some things that actually can apply to everybody that I think personally would be beneficial, but I try to keep an open mind about it. Yeah.
Can we somewhere closer to summer, or maybe in the spring, maybe soon, do a specific, anybody who wants to do like a 1 month weight loss, just everything that you've been talking about? Can we do a separate broadcast for those people who would love that, and just make it a month of healing, and, or, you know, just better food, better choices, weight loss, better circulation, better liver function, whatever? Maybe we could put one of those together, because I would love that.
Well, I don't even think that we have to wait till summer. I think it's about how it's worded. Can't we just say that we want to be our ideal weight?
Sure.
Because ideal weight is different than weight loss. And, you know, they always say you don't want to lose weight, because then you're going to go find it. You don't want to lose something. So I'd rather focus on it. Well, then we don't have to wait, but, you know, balancing the endocrine system, you know, so that has to do with hormones, that has to do with all that. We can talk about balancing the thyroid gland or hormones and craving healthy foods, because even if someone doesn't want to lose weight, it's probably a better idea to crave healthy foods than to crave junk.
Well, we were talking about doing for February, since it's Heart Month, doing things for relationship and everything. Maybe we need to can we put some of those in there for love yourself type thing, and put some of those frequencies in?
I've already started the list for February, and it includes self-love, but I also have stuff in there for heart health. And I also have stuff in there for relationships and communication, feeling beautiful, feeling sexy. So some of it's in there, but if you guys have special requests that I think I can do to satisfy everyone, you know, that wouldn't hurt anybody. I mean, I don't know anyone that would hurt to feel sexy, but if you have a special request for a certain month, and if I can change it to something universal, I'll be happy to. So people can, you know, add that, like, if, you know, if they like. So Maria, you're the one sending out so far. I've been doing the broadcast this month, and you've been doing the emails. And I had just, while you were gone, mentioned how Darren, you're muted.
And it hasn't gone out yet. It was supposed to go out today, and I just have a couple of things I still have to add, so it'll go out tonight for this week.
Okay, And just for the other ones, what I was just saying while you were gone was that their involvement in those exercises and those tips is huge. So do you want to speak on that? And I'm going to take just a short little break, and then we'll get how to do it on the Blue Dot app. I've got to walk away from my phone for a minute, but you want to take over?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I did this with a couple of different groups, let's see, when was this? It was a couple of years ago, and I had the New Vision system as well. And I'm going to put this up on the screen so you see what you guys are getting here. And what I did was I did 7 days of blasting people with tons of information like what you see on your screen. And then every single day I had an email that went out to remind them to think, to be in the, to hold the intention. And I think that's the big thing. I was talking to someone today, I was talking to Valerie today about holding an intention of something, because you can be in your meditative state in the morning, and you can be thinking about all these great things you want to do for your body and your eyesight and your liver health and finances or relationships or whatever you want. But it's really hard to hold that intention all through the day, because all of a sudden, you know, now you need to make coffee, or you have to get gas, or you have to, other things take your attention. So it's hard to hold that little intention of one thing. So what I did is I went ahead and did 7 days of intensive, and every single day, everybody got an email with a tool, something to do, something to think on, and kind of incorporated that then in what they were getting, but it came daily. So it was helpful. When I'm doing once a week, it's hard because, you know, or some people, you know, aren't even opening their email to even view it. So, and maybe just seeing Attract Abundance in their email is enough for them to go, oh yeah, I need to focus on that. But like Gwen said, anytime you're doing something up, when you're doing a positive intention towards an intention that you already have in your mind, it just quadruples or even more, or tenfold, whatever the amount of energy and vibration that is being secured for you in that supernatural field. And that's what we're really tapping into, is the field that we don't see. We want to really be in a place where we can tap into this amazing beneficial, what am I trying to say? This benevolent universe that is so willing to give to us, but we're the ones that push it away. We're the ones that don't tap into it. We have to be reminded to tap into it. And that's what those weekly emails are about. And then the one that I just sent out, and I sent it out 2 weeks in a row, was the one with the envelopes, to be able to, you know, put monies aside but you're thinking about it every week, you're looking at that again. So anything you can do in your world to just daily, like Gwen was saying, you know, write something on your mirror, write something on your rear view mirror, on your, what did you say, Stephen? Steve says in permanent ink, so that it's there and you can't get it off. But doing those things is really important. Just keep your mindset that way. Okay, so I know that I don't know exactly if Gwen wanted to do more on this. We just wanted to touch on this and then get to Healy. So if you're wanting to know, if you're not in on the prosperity stuff, the Attract Abundance group broadcast, and you want to do that, I'll make sure that we put stuff in the chat so that you can go see that and then kind of investigate if that's what you want to do. But let's talk about whatever somebody wants to talk about with Healy. I'll leave this up on the screen, because if you want to write some of these numbers down and put them in your wallet, put them on your person, write them on a piece of paper, to put in your pocket, put them in your cash drawer, you know, anything that you want to do with these, I'm going to leave that up. But I'm going to open it up to, I'm going to go to my gallery view so we can look at hands. Is there anybody that has questions about Healy? And let's just kind of start. Yeah.
This is Les. 2 things.
Hi, Les.
I sent you and Gwen a question specifically, but I also, are you going to be covering the anti-aging tonight?
I am not. I do not have, I do not have information on that that's satisfactory to do that, but I will this week. This week I was inundated with laser shipping. So okay. Steve and I have been trying to get all of our lasers out, and I just really haven't been able to delve in, but I don't want to give you information that's kind of
Sure.
half of what you should get. So yeah, so let's
Well,
plan on next week on that
Now,
one.
the question I have an 85-year-old lady that's
Okay.
been using Rife for many years.
Mhm.
And a couple months ago, she had nausea. She couldn't stay up longer than 1 o'clock in the afternoon, had to go back to bed, a lot of pain, different things. I started running the remote um, resonance on her for a total of 4 weeks. And she felt she might be getting something, but she really wasn't sure. So then I loaned her the Pink app, and some things changed. She felt much better, and she decided the only way she was going to know if this was better than the Rife that she was using is quit it. And
Right.
she, after 2 weeks, she called me and she said, I can see I'm starting to get the nausea back and different things. I can see the Healy is an answer.
Oh, good.
And she was going to order the gold, wasn't sure about the resonance. We were talking. And so that weekend, because she wasn't sure if she was just going to go gold, I did not do the remotes. And she thought I did. Well, she called me up Monday and said, "This is phenomenal." She said, the my bowels have now started working more than once a day. And when she found out that I was not doing remotes, she was shocked. She says, "Well, how, since I've quit it for 2 weeks, could Healy have anything to do with the changes that are happening now?" It's been
Okay.
another week, and she says she's getting better without the Healy, so she didn't know Healy had anything to do with it. And so, have you had this circumstance of a delayed reaction, like 2 weeks or 3 weeks after they stopped using the Healy?
So I haven't had a delayed reaction. However, anytime you change the communication of the cells, everything is just going to keep getting better and better over time. I know that you and I know you have a Beamer. And so I know that, with a 12 to 16 hour kind of time frame of where something is going to last for somebody. When I put my dad's shoulder on the Healy, and he owns a Beamer, so he was getting really good circulation. When I put him on the Healy for that 1 hour and all of a sudden he had full range of motion with no pain, I fully expected to call the next morning and talk to my mom and have her say he's back to where he was. Or maybe even worse because we'd gotten some blood flow there and now we're waking up some nerves. I was so incredibly shocked to hear her say, "Oh, he's doing great. He's out underneath the camper putting with his cordless drill, putting some kind of panel up. No problem at all," and slept well. And then for that whole week, it just got better. So I believe what happens is when you have cells that are communicating better, they start calling for more nutrition, more oxygen, more waste removal. And so because a cell is calling for that, guess what happens? The body accommodates because that's what the body's doing, is always trying to be in balance. So I fully expect for her that she will just, and unless her lifestyle completely comes back. Now it sounds like maybe she's changed her lifestyle. I'm not sure about what symptoms she was having. But unless she goes back, and kind of takes another few steps back, I fully expect that those cells will just be resonating and vibrating where they need to be. But the hard part for you is that she does not have faith that the Healy did it. And
Right.
that's something that you're just going to have to let her sit with. And she may come back after another short period of time if her lifestyle is something that's allowing those symptoms and situation to come back into her life. She may find, "Oh, I'm getting some nausea again. Okay, maybe the Healy did help." So what I would do in your instance is just really just let it be and just say to her, maybe, "You know what, if you start getting some symptoms back and you'd like to try the Healy again to clarify if that really was what was helping, then let's do that," and kind of leave it at that. You can't really force anybody, unfortunately. And that's the hard part with that, because she's feeling better. She doesn't know if it's the Healy. So why spend the money if you don't
Right.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll add
So
to that. I'm back, Les. I want to add to that, Maria, because I think it's the difference too of not a delayed reaction, but a difference between something being resolved or not. I mean, why can't something just be resolved?
True.
You know, so I don't think the expectation with Healy should be that we have to do it all the time forever. I mean, that shouldn't, then that's just a Band-Aid. That's the Western medicine approach. So I think it's okay that it's resolved, and it's okay to celebrate it being resolved, because what I tell people with Healy is do this, this, and this. Let's say it's my clients. I tell them do this and this and this. And when those things are resolved, let's work on something else or go to something else. Because no one hardly ever in the very beginning of Healy does like beauty or anti-aging because they have health issues they want to resolve. You know, so to me, it's like, well, hopefully it is resolved, and then move on to something else that's going on, and then see if that gets resolved.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, I'm not exactly sure how to verbalize that with her, but I've kind of got the idea. Basically, it's planting seeds, and as it grows, the body in that area will get better, but other areas still need treatment. But yeah, she's used the Rife for 5 years and really believes in it. Was kind of surprised that when she got on the Pink app, things changed.
Well, on Rife, the problem is, were they using the right frequency? I mean, Rife is as good as which frequencies you're using, because I've heard plenty of stories of people using Rife machines, and it's about the frequency selection, which is key. And what I find personally with Rife is that people in their mind, okay, so I say this all the time, but it's true. Like, okay, so let's say in their mind, they think the diabetes is their pancreas, and they're hammering on frequencies for pancreas or diabetes, but what if it's their kidneys? And then the whole time they've been focused on the wrong organ. So I think that that's just a different approach, because with Healy, they're getting a bunch of frequencies in that hour, instead of having to choose specific frequencies that they're going to do for an hour, which is a whole different thing. And if you don't know what you're doing with Rife, you may not get any results at all.
Yeah, she sees a naturopathic doctor once a month to give her the frequencies for the Rife.
Yeah, but it's still up to them. Like, what are they choosing for them? What's their background with Rife? I mean,
Right.
I've had people that have used the Healy for a week, and, you know, and Maria too, with their pain issues and different things that are resolved, and they're better. So I think the expectation, you know, that's going back to the difference between natural medicine and Western medicine anyway, is with natural medicine, you're expecting a resolution and not to take the product forever, you know, like, because if you're taking the product forever, you didn't resolve anything. And so I think that's also, you know, if someone's a diabetic, for instance, just going back to diabetes, they're expecting to be on insulin the rest of their life. They're not expecting not to take a medication. So when I know she has a different mindset because she was already doing Rife, but we should have the mindset that the issue can be resolved, and not that we have to always be working on it.
Okay.
So
The other part is, how long, do you know, Les, how long she had been using the Rife?
About 4 years.
Okay, so I guess I would put that on the table, is like, have you ever had this type of reaction in the 4 years that you've been using the Rife technology? You know, have you had that happen? Rose in the chat just put that she had gastrointestinal issues, gut issues, and it was resolved with one program. She used gastrointestinal. So, you know, you could call her back and say, I've, you know, been talking to other people who have had issues like that be resolved very, very quickly using the Healy, and it, you know, and just put it back in her lap that, you know, you've been using the Rife for a long time and you haven't had these type of, so just say, I'm going to say that the Healy did some pretty profound things for your system, and then
Okay.
see what she does.
Sure.
I would also add and go into, what else do you have that you want to work on? You know, like, what's next?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maria, I'm back now. Can I show the thing I wanted to show?
Yes, I'll stop sharing.
Your document is actually not showing right now, but can we show it just for 1 minute so I can tell people that?
How come it's not? I was sharing it.
I see just a kind of gray screen. I don't see the numbers.
I see
Oh.
it.
Brad's saying he sees it.
Yeah, it's all there.
Well, that is so weird. How come? Oh, mine was flipped up. Okay. So you guys, let me see if I see at the bottom. Hold on. I see it now. My screen was doing something wonky. So let me go back up. I can't see the very bottom of it, but under where it says happiness, there's a number for lucky. I don't know if there's a way to move that up or if it's just because I'm looking at this on my phone. But anyway, on that document that Maria said, there it is. Okay, you see the number for lucky. Since I used that as an example earlier, that's what I'm going to use. 357-0781. This is Carrie's question. All right, so you can use any of these. Unexpected wealth, money from nowhere, recover money, success in stock trading, like whatever. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen then, Maria. And I'm going to go to the Blue Dot app. Can y'all see my screen?
Yes.
Can you see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm in the Blue Dot app. Let me see if it's actually connected. Okay. So I'm going to start here so you have a reference point. Please write this down because this is not hard, but this is a question that comes up more than any other question. And it's just a sequence of a very few steps. So anytime you want to do a custom broadcast, it's something you want to just throw in there. You don't want it to be something that you scanned. I can just make Eddie lucky. So I'm going to go to Aura. I'm going to record Aura. So write that down, record Aura, and then you're going to hit the hot pink button 3 times. Okay, so analysis, that's number 2. Start analysis number 3. There's another way you can do this, but I'm just going to use this way because I think it's the most simple. Okay, now if I scroll up, you see a pencil. There's a pencil there. I can bypass whatever's here and I can put in 357-0781. You can write the word lucky if you want. That's not what's important. I don't clear out the other stuff, but you can. If you want to go delete all this other stuff in there and just send that number, it's okay. It's okay if you don't. You guys know I'm in easy. Okay, I'm gonna hit the check mark because that saves it. And so now when I vibrate this, one of the things being sent is lucky, the number for being lucky. If you guys want, I'll show you the second way to do it, which does give you a completely clear field, but you'll see it scroll through here. But basically, all you're trying to do is go to where you have a pencil, go to an open field, and then that way you can send whatever you want. Like the Aura balancing anyway, so I leave the other stuff in there, but if you wanted to backspace it out, you can. But there's another way to do it where you can just have a custom field and not do anything else. It's under the vibrate option. See right there, 357-0781 lucky. Now I can set it up to send to him. The benefit I have on doing New Vision is I can schedule it like certain number of minutes, certain times a day to everybody that's in that group. You guys can do it this way to focus on one theme, one topic, one whatever you want to have that extra boost. And remember what I said earlier, your involvement in the process is also making it be more personal to you. I personally think it makes it more effective, but it doesn't mean it's not effective if you don't do this. I'm just saying pick out something on the list if you're involved in the group, or if you just got the email and you want to do it yourself, do it. Every month we're going to send the list out to the people that are participating so that you guys can use the numbers for however you want to use them based on what we taught in the advanced workshop. But if you didn't attend the advanced workshop I mentioned earlier, you can say them, write them, put them somewhere you see them all the time, sing them, whatever. You're just trying to bring them into your field. Do you want to add anything on that, Maria? Do y'all want me to show you the other way to do it?
Yes.
Did
Yes,
you show how to
please.
did you show how to rename it too?
Yeah, I'll go back and do that too. So let me go here.
Yes, you can take a snapshot of that list and you can put it in there at the very bottom. You can add a picture of one of those blank screens.
I can't, I don't have email on my phone, but most normal people can.
So when you write in where you pencil in, you just have to write it in one time? You don't have to write it in each field?
No, just one time. Well, my thing is stuck. I'm gonna go back. Oh,
Would it be all right if you, would it be okay if you use more than one number to vibrate in the custom aura scan? Yes.
mm-hmm. Okay, so here, what now? I don't remember, but let me see. No, that's not it. Okay, one more box. And I still have to get to the vibrate part. Let's see.
Eddie's going to be feeling good tonight.
If that ever happens, like what just happened, just go back and then go back and do it again. Sometimes it does get hung up, but I just go back and it works. Okay, you see right here on this, instead of going to the pencil, you can go to actions. I can click on add manually, and then all the fields are blank. So then I could type in, it's just whatever you prefer. It's really not even an extra step. It's just preference. I learned the other way, so that's the way I normally do it. I could click the check mark. It's in its own field. It's at 100%. Now I can vibrate.
So go ahead and click the stop button, Gwen. And then go back. Oh, it's not going to let you, isn't it? You can't go back, and you can't hit the back button and see if it'll let you go edit again. Okay, so go ahead and go to actions and click on add manually. And then this is where Gwen just put that in. But if you scroll all the way to the bottom, see where it says add symbol, you can click on that, and then see where it says add image. You can click on that, and then it'll ask you, do you want to do it from your camera or from your gallery? And that's where you would add your screenshot of whatever you want to do, or a picture of a homeopathic, or a picture of a essential oil.
I'll show you how I'm going to do it. I'm going to take a picture of the screen.
Yep.
And then I can, since it's in there, then I can go back into the Blue Dot app and do it that way. I've never done it that way, but that's easy. I have to open it from here because I still know. Okay, so if I want to add the image,
choose from gallery.
Oh, wait.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah.
And now it's done. You don't have to hit save or anything. It's done. So you can just click out of add symbol, the little X at the top. And now it's in there. So when she goes to vibrate now, after she puts whatever else she wants in, then all of those numbers will also be coming.
So you don't necessarily see it after you add it, but it's there.
It's there.
Well, you do see it. If you watch the scroll, you're going to see the number. Now, I don't know about adding the picture because I've never done that before, but you are going to see the number in a second because it shows up in one of the fields.
Yeah, you won't see the picture.
So if you just watch for a second, it scrolls through all the chakra options, and then it'll go to your open field that you typed in and saved. And then I'll show them how to save it. It's the one at 100%.
If you, on the, where it has the bars, the
Wait,
little
there
graph,
it is. Wait. There it is for anyone that's wondering.
on the little graph, if you uncheck all of them except one, then you don't have all the different chakras.
Right.
I know, but I like it. I want to do it. So I want to balance the chakras while I get the custom thing. If you don't want to, you can take them off. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would include them, but going back to what Maria's saying, then if I want to go to clients, then I can go to Eddie, and I can go to the little 3 bars in the upper right-hand corner. and I can go to show list. And if I want to swipe left, I can rename this and I can call it Lucky or whatever. I can say Prosperity or whatever I want to call it. And then, well, now it's Licky instead of Lucky. But anyway, so then if I ever want to go back to that, instead of doing that whole process again, I can just, I'll rename it correctly. I can then just go back to the list and do this instead of, obviously I can't type, but I can go back and do it from here, because then if I click on that, it goes right back to what I've already done in the custom field. And then I can just hit vibrate and start. And so now it's going to do it again, but I don't have to go do custom anything. So if there's something that you really want to focus on supporting and working on, then you would want to save it and change it and rename it so you don't have to go do that every time. Here you go, buddy.
So can you even add in something like if you want to work on your liver and your kidneys?
Yeah, you can put anything in there.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, so since we're talking about prosperity, remember where Gwen went to take the picture? You go to actions, add manually, scroll to the bottom, and then where it says record a vibration, instead, you can have your Healy, and then you can just put just a wad of cash on top of your Healy. I don't know if you can see me. Put a wad of cash. I don't have hundreds right now in my drawer, but if I had hundreds, I'd do hundreds. But just put a wad of cash on top of your Healy. And then you can vibrate the frequency of money. That's why you'd probably want hundreds into your Healy. And then that's part of your prosperity vibration that you're sending to yourself. So again, and then you can take pictures, so that you can take a picture of it. You can have your vibration in here. You save it. Someone said, I lost all of my pre-named lists. Why would that happen?
Deleting the app and putting
deleting the app, deleting the app and coming back in. It could have just been a glitch. You may have to go into whoever the client was. If you were the client, choose you as a client, go to the upper right-hand screen on the bars on the upper right-hand screen, click on that to show lists, and then see if it's in your personal list. Sometimes they sort of get lost when we do a lot of different scans on people.
Yeah, and have to do with weight loss. Why not take it? And in that case, why not take a picture of yourself at a weight that you really liked?
I like that.
Self, like go back and take an old photograph and send it. And I think the money is a great idea. I wouldn't have thought of that, but take a picture of a pile of cash and then broadcast it to yourself.
Yeah.
I even like your envelope story, Maria, that you sent by email to the prosperity group, and take a picture of all those envelopes of money and then broadcast anything that you can do. Like I said, anything that you can do as your personal involvement is going to be exponentially more effective. Does anyone, before we get out of the Blue Dot app, does anyone have any Blue Dot app questions?
We have 3 hands raised and I'm not sure what they're for. Brad, do you want to unmute real quick? Is it something to do with this or?
Yes. And I didn't realize that, I was just going into the, like the Blue app and clients and going to my client. And then I didn't realize I had to go up to the top right-hand corner to pull the list for that specific client. So when I thought they were all kind of together, but when I went up there, I could find specific programs that I did for a specific client. So
yeah,
that was something new that I wasn't aware of.
Yeah, that's good. That's how you can save them and rename them in that client's profile, so that when you're working on that person again, you can find that particular thing.
Yep. Perfect.
Yeah, that's a nice time saver too, because a lot of times when you're scrolling through that list of scans, if you have a lot of people that you've done, it won't autofill even as a progressive date. It just kind of is random and you're having to look at the date and everything else. I think it's easier to find your client. And then when your client's there, the top right, of your screen, the little hamburger lines, click on that and then click show lists, and then it'll show you everything you've run for them. And it's a much shorter list, so your chances of you finding what you need are better.
Should we be clearing out the list, or is there any issue with capacity of the list?
No, I mean, you might want to actually keep them in there. There's no space capacity that I've heard, but the reason you might want to keep them in there is because if you do something like really effective for somebody, and then, 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, you're like, I have no idea what I did, that history will tell you what you did.
Okay.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
Okay, when it shows percentages, when it comes up with the analysis, the highest percentages, is that what you need the most, or is it the lowest one? Like they say, 42% grief, whatever. I'm just,
To me, it's resonance and relevance. So the way I interpret that is the higher the number, the more you need it. The lower the number is the less you need it. When I'm in the blue dot and I'm running the analyze all programs, everybody kind of knows I don't even look at things under 50%. If it's, like if it lists like however many things to do under the analyze all, and if 3 of them are over 50 and 2 are under 50, I would spend time on the over 50. I don't, it's not that I don't think they're relevant. It's just that it's going to give you the top 5 no matter what. Well, out of the top 5, if 3 are really relevant and 2 aren't really relevant, they're still going to be listed. But I would personally, I know everybody doesn't have the same approach as me, but I'd rather spend time on the most relevant issues and less or no time on the less relevant issues.
And if I
And-
can add to that, let's say that you have mental balance as your top one that shows. So you go in and scan in that category for your top ones. And let's say that the next category that came up as the second highest one was fitness. And so you go in and you scan that. Well, let's say when you pull up that list, all of them within fitness, let's say they're all like at 42%, 39%, 33%. So I look at it as that the fitness category had a high enough ranking to show up out of all of the categories that are there. Fitness had a high enough ranking to show. So even though within that program page, maybe the percentages are less, I still run the top one, even if it's 39%, because I feel like that was at least high enough ranking to show in the original scan against all Healy programs. So when I go into fitness, I'm still going to run the top one, even if it's 39%. So I don't take heed too much on the percentages within the category. I look at the top categories that showed in the all Healy program scan.
Yeah, so it's a different approach because I feel like it's going to show the top 5 even if only one's relevant. And that's how a lot of systems that do ranking work, is they're going to show the top relevance regardless. I mean, if it was the top 10, it's going to show the top 10, but 3 may be really important and 7 maybe not as much. But once you have anything ranking and it's going to give you 5, it's always going to give you 5, because it's not saying these 5. I mean, not everybody's always going to have 5. Maybe you have 7 and it only shows the top 5. That's possible too. I saw someone, Maria, had the question, and I don't normally have anything on my Bluetooth except for I went to San Antonio on Saturday, so today I do. So I'm going to show my screen again because I saw the person who said that they don't know why their Bluetooth isn't connecting. And this is also something that we cover a lot, but usually I can't really actually show this because I don't have a Bluetooth. Do you have, I mean, you can see my screen, right?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Always have to ask because, okay, so normally I don't have anything on Bluetooth, but you see that I do have my Mazda on here because I went somewhere this weekend. If someone is having a Bluetooth connection issue, and we've gotten to the point, Lindsay and I will not even talk to you if you have anything on Bluetooth besides Healy. I'm sorry, but it's just such a common problem that the first thing, if Bluetooth doesn't connect, I would try turning off Bluetooth and turning back on Bluetooth. Sometimes that just resets it. Okay, I know someone's going to say, well, that didn't work. Okay, but you see how Mazda's there. And even though my Healy, and it just turned my Healy off because I had turned Bluetooth off and back on. But Mazda and your Siri and your Alexa and all these speaker things and all these other things, earbuds and earpieces, they all have these really strong Bluetooth connections and Healy does not. So what you have to do, and you should try this for somebody, this is you go to on actually forget it, but do is forget this device. Now it will let me. And I don't want it on there. And if someone says, well, I need that, I can't live without it, then get another device, get a tablet or something, because that is your number one reason. Until that Bluetooth screen is completely clear, then almost never have any problems. I don't personally have any problems with the connection because I did this a long time ago and I just don't use my car thing unless I'm on a long road trip. Most of my trips around here are 1 or 2 miles away. Okay, if that doesn't work, then I would uninstall the, see, now I know what it's looking for with hands-free. I don't have hands-free. We're going to see what it does, because see, it's searching. It's constantly searching. Now I turn on my Healy and it should find the Healy. I really don't know what hands-free is because, like I said, I don't have anything hands-free. It could be my next door neighbor, but you see, it's going to find other stuff. But this is where you need to make sure that it's not in there. So I'm going to turn it off and back on. And if I go to the Blue Dot app, it should find the Healy once I turn it on, because now I need to connect to the app for it to work. If that doesn't work and all your devices are clear, then I would recommend 2 things. One, uninstalling your Blue Dot app and reinstalling it because it might need to sync up again. And the other idea is to do the hard reset on the Healy, which is hold the power button down between 10 and 20 seconds. And some people say it has to be plugged in. It does not have to be plugged in to do a hard reset. But then have never had anyone actually drive to my place and me do these things I just mentioned and it not work. Like, never, ever. I've not had one single case. I would also mention that if the things I just mentioned don't work, try it on a different device. Just try it on your husband or your kid's cell phone, because there's lots of things that could be happening with miscommunication. Turn off your cell phone, turn it back on. Sometimes on my cell phone, even like I don't have sound for some reason. Like I'll be trying to play YouTube or something and there's no sound. I turn off my cell phone, turn it back on. It's not just a Healy communication thing. And you know how sometimes you get in your car, even when it's connected to your car, and the Bluetooth doesn't come through. I mean, there's all kinds of glitchy stuff with Bluetooth, period. But those are like the common fixes when your Bluetooth isn't talking. You want to add anything to Maria to that, or do you want to talk about maybe what you see when you talk to people?
Well, I'm one of those people, I just don't have any issues. I have an Android. I feel like I've been super blessed and I just don't have a lot of these issues. When I talk people through it, the majority of the time we can figure it out. But there are some instances where I feel like, oh, if I just had your Healy in my hand, I could help you figure it out. So it's nice when people come to your office there, Gwen, because then you can actually see it and you can help the person. And there is a learning curve with all of this technology. So we just have to be gentle with one another. And there are going to be some devices that there really is some kind of glitch, but 99.9% of the time, it has to do with your device and how your device is connecting to the cloud, how it's receiving information from the Healy. So what we tell people, like what Gwen just said, is make sure that you've tried it on another device. Just see if you can get it to work on a different type of device.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So I put it in the chat, but I'm going to ask it too. And I think I heard Gwen answer it before I even finished writing. I'm just doing a new friend's dog and he's got degenerative myelitis. And so he's in a cart and mostly paralyzed, but not completely. And I thought, wow, wouldn't it be awesome if Healy could help him? And she sent me a picture of him from several years ago where he's vibrant and young and he looks great. And she sent me the most recent, like him lying kind of lethargic on his pillow, and I was like, do I want to use the young picture since that's kind of a desired state of him having energy and being able to move? Or am I better to use the current picture?
I would personally use the current picture to load and I would broadcast the young picture.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Awesome. Okay, thank you.
I think we have to look at too that, you know, your energy pattern, your blueprint here on earth is your blueprint. That is not going to change. Now, the information in your information field will change. But if you only have a 20-year-old picture, 10-year-old, 15-year-old picture of someone, and that's all you have, that's still their identifying marker here on planet Earth. That's still who they are. So don't be afraid to run it. I mean, it is nice if you have a newer picture. I think definitely that can be of an assistance just from an intention standpoint. But a lot of people put a lot of energy into the picture. And when in the beginning, Gwen and I were answering that almost every call, you know, about the picture thing. So, you know, do as current as you can. But I love what Gwen just said is have the newest one, because that is the information in the information field of that dog. But then also, you know, put the younger one so that you have the information field that was there when he was vibrant. So I think that's a great combination. Trudy, you've had your hand up for a really long time. Can you unmute?
Oh, sure. I had a question. My mom has a tear and bursitis in her shoulder, and I have ran the resonance scan, and pain never comes up. She says she has excruciating pain. Deep cycle comes up, all Healy programs comes up, but pain never comes up. And I'm wondering, you know, I usually trust the blue dot. I run what it comes up, and I don't know, should I just pick other programs to run for that?
Well, let me tell you what I did with my dad, because somebody asked what programs did you run. I, at that point, only had a holistic health. I did not have a resonance, so I couldn't even scan him. And I was new. I only had had the Healy for 2 weeks, so I was really new. I did put him on chronic pain. We put the electrodes on the 2 pain points on his shoulder that he was experiencing. And I did the chronic pain, which is a 20-minute program. He didn't feel anything. At that point, I had it at 100%, but his pain tolerance is really high. So I wouldn't do that again. I would definitely have it lower. But he was getting connected. I mean, you could tell that he was creating the circuit. The line was white. And well, it was going back and forth between white and black. And so we ran that full thing. And then we went to joints and bones in the bioenergetic balance category. Still, I was just doing that off of intuition and physically what his symptoms were. That one, he didn't feel anything. We didn't run the entire program because that was an hour program. We only did about 20 minutes, but he did have a better range of motion during that time. Then we ran the circulatory system in the meridians. That is the one that really made the difference. So I only ran pain because I figured he was in pain, and he would talk about his shoulder a lot. But if it came up in a scan that it was other things, it was kidney or liver or lung or something else, I would definitely run those first. Then I might go back and then go ahead and do one of the pain programs. But I always, I've had enough things happen now where I'm glad that I honored what showed up in the scan first. And then you can always go back and add something later. I think
Okay,
I told
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
My question is, she has coils because she's had aneurysms. So can she use the cords?
I do not know about that. Do you, Gwen?
No, I don't. Are you talking about, well, I don't use
I don't know if she can use the pink dots without the cords.
I don't use cords anyway, so, but I know that there's some cardiovascular contraindications, but I would just do it without.
Yeah, hers are brain aneurysms, and she has some coils in her brain aneurysms.
I probably would do it without too.
Yeah, you
Okay.
wouldn't put electrodes on that part of the body anyway, but I would just do it without the cord.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Heather. Heather, you're muted. Can you unmute?
Oh, sorry.
There you go. There you are.
Hey, you can hear me. Hello.
Hi.
So I was trying to figure out with the, and of course I got to go back in my phone, hold on, where Gwen was putting in like the lucky number, and then, she put the word lucky, and then further down, you've got like, I don't have it up in front of me, but it was like potency, intensity, like you put, I think it was 10 intensity, right?
I didn't change that. I just put the
100%.
default. I don't think the potency would matter unless you're dealing with homeopathy. I mean, on something like a number or an affirmation, let me go back to that because I don't know what the default is. I thought the default was like a 1-to-1, but I'm not sure that's let me just look. But when you're talking about potency, I wouldn't, I mean, a number doesn't need to be potentized.
Okay. I didn't think so, but I wasn't sure. And then I don't know, I really didn't understand like kind of what potency was for.
I didn't change it. You see, there's no potency.
Okay. So just leave potency alone.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't do anything with any of those. The relevance is % because you're putting it in there custom. That makes sense to me. The intensity,
Okay.
I wouldn't change. And then potency, if it was a homeopathic remedy, like let's say for my dog, I was going to do a remedy, let's say pepper sulf. Also, these are European potencies, so they don't really equate to American potencies, but let's just do a quick thing here. So I don't actually know in the Europe homeopathics what D is. C is, it might be like our X. C is considered a low potency that you can take daily. LM are considered very high potencies that you would, usually they're incorporating by mind, body, spirit. So physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. So LM is your highest potencies. I don't see an M, like a 1M is common, but for something you would use like one time. If you don't know what to do with potencies, then just don't do anything.
Yeah.
Because then, I mean, if you use a high potency and depending on what you're sending, I think it could cause a reaction. So if you don't select anything, it says potency 0. Potency 0 is like a 1-to-1. It's like giving someone the herb echinacea without making it stronger than what it's intended to be. When you're potentizing something, you're doing it to get a desired effect in homeopathy. But like I said, I'm not even familiar with the European potencies because these are not what Americans use. So I would leave it alone, but I don't mess with the relevance either because I feel like if it's custom, it does have 100% relevance. And I don't fill in all these blanks. I just put the desired state. And I don't put a description. Like if it's a remedy for my dog, like one I use for etiolatus, heifer sulf, I might put that in there and put like 30C, but if I was going to do that with a potency, I would do it here. So I would type in like heifer sulf, which is a homeopathic remedy for like skin and teeth and glands. I would put the potency next to the remedy because I don't know how to use the equivalents in European homeopathy. If I want to, I don't usually type in desired state, but you could say, I'm happy, healthy, my teeth are perfect, whatever. And so I don't worry about filling in other blanks because I'm mostly using it for remedies that either aren't in here or where I want to go in and do something quick and kind of bypass the whole thing. Now, if I was doing like a normal thing, like I'm sitting here doing the background while everybody's talking, like I could run homeopathy, I could do aura, I could balance all those things. If I'm going to do the regular approach, it would be kind of an analyze all, take the top ones, and then I would normally go to Bach. I almost always go to homeopathy, Bach, and the Susser salts. Those are the three I usually go to extra. So Materia Medica, Bach, and Susser salts. If it was nutrition, I'd go to amino acids. I think that should be renamed because it's not just amino acids, but I don't typically go to these individually. Like I don't normally just go to meridians because I want to, in my mind, I want to go to analyze all to see where I want to go. Because if you run all those individually, I'm in a loop. If I run all those individually, like go down the list, sorry, you guys, if I go do pain and then learning and then each one of these, it'll take forever. So I don't normally do it that way. I go to the bottom of the list, but if you go to the bottom of the list and you're down here under Analyze All, that's analyzing all your pink dot apps on the resonance, but it is not analyzing and not including Bach, Materia Medica, amino acids, Australian bush, Alaskan gem, Schussler salts, and I Ching. Those are always going to be independent and have to be run in addition. But when you're doing the Analyze All at the bottom, you're running from gold cycle down. It's checking all of those programs. So, and when it says 17, there's obviously more than 17 Healy programs, but it's like the 17 categories, because this is running the categories, not the specific programs. So what Maria said earlier makes sense, because if you're looking at it from a program perspective, like right here, it's telling you go to pain psyche, but it's not telling you which one of those 8 programs to run. And then second, it's telling you job, but under job, it might be sleep, because sleep is under job. Obviously my dog doesn't have a job. I mean, yeah, my dog doesn't have a job. So if I'm looking at it from that perspective, I can go, okay, well, what, like she said, which in there do I need to run? So I usually just write these down on a piece of paper, and then go to these 5 and then work from there. So, I mean, the whole thing might take 30 minutes at the most if I did everything.
Yeah, see those top 3, the 63%, 62%, and 61%, those are, and I may include the bioenergetic balance because it's going to be organs, glands, or systems. So I might go in and drill down and vibrate or scan each of those categories, those top 4, but then I'm going to take the top 1 in each of those. And those are going to be my 3 or 4 programs today. That's just how I run it, is I look at those top 3 or 4 because the percentages are higher. And then I drill down, and whatever shows up in the pain, that's the one I'm going to run. Whatever one shows up in the Healy Jobs program as number 1, that's the one I'm going to run. So that's how I kind of decipher what I'm going to run for me during that day.
I do too. What I was saying, just because it's on the screen, is that if the last one, like this last one that says Healy Meridians programs 2, if that number was a 37, then
You wouldn't, yeah.
I'm going to focus on these ones up at the top, the pain, the job, the skin, whatever shows up, because then I still have to go to pain to see which program to run, because that didn't tell me which program to run. That told me which category to run. So, but if it was 37%, I may spend time just somewhere else. That's just me. So now it says to do chronic back pain. So that would be number 1, migraine second, and those 2 are both high, but you know, I could still do depression and pain and joints. I mean, I could do all of these, but if I'm in the pink dot, just to run that whole list would take too long. I could do it here for just like 1 minute and then do like the top program under the pink dot app. So really, to me, it depends on how much time you have.
Well, someone just asked in the chat how often, Brenda asked, how often do you do a resonance scan? I probably do two a week. I used to do it daily. I used to go in every day and find out what I needed and try to get those programs in. But I do a lot with now the bioenergetic revitalization and the watch program. So I have a lot of other things I'm doing. So I'll probably do a scan on me a couple of times a week just to pick up those extra ones that are the most prominent. But really, it's personal preference.
Ask you one more question. When you were talking about the homeopathic, the Materia Medica, you said that was one that you like to run?
I run it
for you.
Me.
You do? Okay.
Well, that's probably my favorite. And I have to say, with my dog, it's probably the one I see the most profound change, unless I do a custom thing. Like you guys have seen me on past weeks where he didn't eat and I put in there that I'm hungry, and then literally within a minute he starts eating. But it's in homeopathy where I've seen the rest of the biggest change with him, more than doing an hour on pink dot. He just seems to really respond. See what it's doing right now. This does happen sometimes. You see it's just stuck, it's just not moving. Well, then I would just backspace, and I'd go back into it, and then it usually does fine. But anyway, that's me, because I love homeopathy. If you guys aren't familiar with homeopathy, you're probably not going to use it or know what to do with it. It's fine. You know, like
But you
this
can
one,
still vibrate it though, right? I mean, like especially if you think that it's good. I mean, wow. I just didn't know much about it. So I didn't realize that was homeopathy. I just had no idea what materia medica meant.
Yeah, it's
But
the name of
that's
the reference
fantastic.
book. It's the
Well,
name
and
of the,
it's the same with the amino acids too. It says amino acids, but really it should say vital substances because there's all kinds of things in that category. And if
Mhm.
you go to atp123.com, there's lists of everything that's in there. So you can actually do some research. In a little bit, we can screen share and I'll show you where to find it. Really quick, Gwen, unless you had something else you wanted to on this, somebody on our call, I think there's only one Christina, and she said she didn't know how to ask a question, but I wanted to unmute her if she was able to.
yeah, let
So-
me, I want to cover one thing here and then let's go to Christina. I just want to say, okay, just for you guys that want to learn, because Maria and I are huge into education. And I just want to say that this little blurb here is like 1/100th of the information available on this remedy chamomilla. So if you had, this is the homeopathic of chamomile. So you can imagine what chamomile, just think of the herb, like when do people drink chamomile tea? Even it's safe for babies. It's to calm down, it's to sleep better, it's to feel relaxed. You can think of that too. But if you ever want more information on homeopathy, the website that I recommend is to go to, and you should write this down because it's not anywhere in Healy stuff. Go to homeoint.org, and it's like the #1 top place to find homeopathy. And then on the right side of the page, I'm on my phone, so I have to kind of expand it. Anything that says MM is Materia Medica. And there's lots of Materia Medicas. There's Barrett, Kent, Clark, Allen. So anyway, I like Clark. So I click on Clark MM. And this is if you want to know more about a remedy, because maybe the remedy is showing up, but it doesn't really make sense to you. You're like, well, that doesn't make sense. Why would that remedy show up? But then you realize that when you read the description, it's perfect. So there's chamomilla. So you're just like following and finding the remedy. And then you find all this stuff, like you find pages and pages of information about chamomilla, and it's lower limbs, upper limbs, digestion, neck and back, chest, respiratory. So basically anything you want to know about homeopathy is here, and you have these very super long detailed descriptions. And then one other thing I'd recommend for you guys working with pets is, and I do this all the time when I have pet appointments, is I will type in like chamomilla and then for dogs, because we're working with a dog, and the homeopathy and Healy is not really talking about dogs because it was like human health. But if you want to go to homeopathy for pets, it says it's helpful for acute illness in young animals. Well, my dog's not young, but it says it may benefit pain, symptoms associated with teething and earache. Well, we already know his history. And the dog could be restless, irritable, thirsty, and colicky. So, sometimes just for your brain to connect the dots, I recommend that you just go to Google and type in, what is it? Because you might read the description and it may just not make sense to you. So, and then when you go this direction and you see, oh, okay, this makes more sense. Like it says also skin irritations. And if you keep going about dog stuff, you'll find out it's also relaxing for dogs that are kind of high strung. Anyway, I just want to go there, Maria. So go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Christina, go ahead and ask your question, hon.
Yes, when you do the I Ching, there's a lot of sentences missing and it goes so fast you can't even read it. So
Yeah.
how do you get to see it actually? And do you find that it's missing sentences too?
Yeah, I think and if we go to, when I share my screen, I'll go to the ATP 123 and show you where, and it has a complete list, and that's also something that you can Google. But yeah, I think it's hard when they're trying to put everything that kind of like with the homeopathics, there's just no way to put everything that one particular element could do.
So if you had a book of the I Ching, it could help.
It could. And then on ATP 123, I know I've got a pretty substantial, it's not just these, so we can go there and look.
Yeah, I can stop and share, but basically you can take that little thing like 60 TSIE limitation, or whatever the reference is, and you could also Google it to see more information about it, besides what Maria put together, because what she put together for the advanced class was excellent.
Is that one of the best ones to figure out emotions of people?
This is like a transfer. E-King is like it's I Ching, E-King, however you want to do it, it's a transformation. It's moving from one state to the next, and how fluid we are with that. So what's great about this is whatever shows up can help you move through the learning process or the growth prospect, the spiritual elevation, whatever it is that's going on in your life. It can just help you move through it better. And that's what it's used for, so that people have an awareness of what really is going on. Because sometimes when you just understand what it is your body's trying to process, your mind and spirit is trying to process, it makes it easier. And that's what the E-King is used for. I Ching, E-King.
So if you
If I
were going
look
through
at
it,
Christine, if I was going to look at emotions, I would go to Bach or Australia Bush more than I would go to I King or
Yeah.
E-King.
I like the validation of the E-King. I think every time I've gone there, I'm like, wow, okay, this knows me right now. But I really like doing the Bach and then the Alaskan gem elixirs right after.
okay. Now I was told that, say, amino acids or something else you had. I don't know. Can you just add that in your chart if that helps your thyroid?
Put it in your chart, meaning?
Add it in those blank fields.
Yes, absolutely. And you can take a photo of it if you have,
Amino
a
acids,
product.
that's what it is.
Yep, you can definitely do that.
Do you have to name a brand or anything, or no?
You can, but you don't have to.
Okay. And then my niece, she may even have to have surgery on her neck. She's had back surgery before and she's young, around 30, and I don't want to see her go through that horrible. So I could put wherever, like, strengthen disc number, blah, 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 that's protruding and pressing on the nerves.
Healthy. Yeah. I mean, put it always in a positive statement, but yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. And then you can always go into the GG numbers, the Grabavoy numbers. Christina, were you in our advanced class?
I have to say, since October, my life has been major.
And that's okay. If
And
you
I'm
can go,
starting to go together.
right, if you can go to the Dropbox and get the handouts, there's that reference page that shows where to find all the numbers and everything. So
Right.
that
What
could
are
be a
those
good
called again? Grabavoy. Can you spell?
So GRAB, is it AVOI? Grabavoy.
Thank you.
I have a question about allergies. If I'm running a program on somebody on the Materia Medica, if they have like an allergy to sulfur or something like that, should you not run that program? Or is the frequencies absorbed different than taking something by mouth?
Well, if you're doing a resonance scan on them, that means that you have all of they're basically their identifier. So you've got their picture, you've got their vibration, possibly you've got all of their identifying markers for them. And you're saying it's coming up in the scan, but they have an allergic reaction to it. Is that what you're saying?
They said in the pill form, they were concerned about what I was going to run on the scan because they have an allergy to sulfur, but it come up.
And a lot of times homeopathics can actually counter where there's an allergy because it's giving the body a subtle reference to the need to figure out and build antibodies, antigens, and to
right. That's what I thought. Just getting a small dose of it, so they're actually building up a.
And if it shows up in their scan, I would trust it. There isn't anything that has ever shown up in the Healy that I thought that is wrong. There isn't. I mean, there's been question marks, like the gentleman that had the jaw showed up, jaw and tooth, and he had no jaw pain, no tooth pain, but he was also a very anxious individual. And after he got done with that 20 minutes or 18-minute scan in the pain, so we did the tooth and jaw in the pain category, he was a completely different individual. When he sat down in the chair, if he would have had a pencil, he would have been like banging the pencil around, because he just was that uptight. Well, what I recognized after that is the jaw and the tooth doing that pain actually started to relax everything in the neck. and the vagus nerve comes out, innervates through C3 and C4, somewhere around in there. The vagus nerve comes out, and if it is strangled or deactivated because of tension, the whole body is in a state of fight or flight. But what happened during that 18 minutes is everything started to relax in his neck and jaw area, and the vagus nerve was probably re-engaged, and everything just calmed down. I would have never picked jaw and tooth for him, ever. I would have done mental balance or something. It's a job or whatever. I would have done something like that, but it showed up in the scan, and I just looked at him and said, well, let's honor what it is. So because of that, he runs that a lot now, because he recognizes that he holds a lot of tension in his neck. So I've learned through a lot of different experiences to always trust what shows on the scan. So if sulfur is showing on that, I trust it. That's just kind of where I'm at with that.
Why would female genitalia show up?
I'll answer that one because that's a question I get a lot. Genitalia is genitalia, and sometimes, like, men have menopause called andropause, like women have menopause. Sometimes men have prostate issues, or sometimes they have testes issues, or sometimes they have estrogen dominance. But I had a person just this week who it was showing a bunch of stuff like, female genitalia and something else related to hormones. Maybe it was menopause. And the woman said, oh, my boyfriend's had man boobs for 10 years. And I was like, oh, okay. So that's estrogen dominance. So to me, it's a reference of something wrong in that department. So it's not like, oh, they had a sex change or they're not a transvestite. It's like, something's wrong in that department. And, when I see it, I don't know what it means because I'm not even seeing the person. But anyway, she was like, oh yeah, he's got man boobs. I'm like, okay. But there's lots of guys that have estrogen dominance because of the world we live in. They're, the water bottles, the soy, the other things that are all the meat and dairy that's, I don't personally eat any meat or dairy that's not, grass-fed, no hormones added stuff. I mean, none, but a lot of people do. And so they're getting a dose of this and that. And then all your anti-aging products are filled with like eyelasheners and eyelash stuff and eyebrow stuff, and all these things that people do are loaded with testosterone, and even makeup is. So sometimes with men, they could be using an anti-aging moisturizer that has hormones in it. Some of the skin anti-aging gels have hormones in them. So we're just bombarded with hormones, and you wouldn't know unless you did like specific hormone testing.
Could it show up if you had ovarian cancer a long time ago and you had a complete hysterectomy? Could that be one reason it shows up?
Yeah, it could show up for anything that's related to female or male sex hormones.
Hormones are going to be both, because we all have both male and female hormones. We do. We're a combination of both. So,
right.
Okay. So Brad, tell me what's going on with hoops. Didn't let me finish.
Oh, no. I was just, that was kind of a real aha the other day. A friend of mine is having a lot of stress issues at work, and she lives in Houston. I'm in Atlanta. So I said, let me run a scan on what's going on. Well, I ran all programs, and then skin came up or whatever. Anyway, it was one of her top. And I later found out that while I was running it, she was at the dermatologist having some basal cells removed.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Another validation that, when you tap into somebody's energetic field, you're going to really get what they need. Right. Heather, did you have another question?
But Maria, I had one other thing.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Brad.
With regard to the Blue app. So, I have a phone and a Healy that works together. The Healy went out by itself. I didn't send the phone out with this guy, just the Healy to run the pink app. So I had this extra phone that I wanted to load my personal Healy onto. So I did not remove the existing Blue app. I just transferred the master key, and everything seemed to load all right. I was able to run programs, but none of the client information transferred. And I would have thought it would have.
I don't know, but you were able to get the Blue app up and running with
Yeah.
that master key.
Yep, and the other Healy is across town. So it's not like it could have connected to the other Healy. But I thought that was interesting. And I didn't know if I should have removed the Blue app before I, loaded, but I mean, you always get the question, do you want to connect to another Healy?
Right.
So I didn't think I needed to, but I mean, I was really surprised at how easy, I did the master key with, what is it called? Where just Bluetooth, it popped up and it was easy to transfer that way.
Very cool. It'll be, so that's your personal residence though.
Yeah, but and I wanted to use it, I was doing a lot of Blue apps and I didn't want my personal phone to be tied up, and I had this, spare phone. So I wanted to do everything from that, but I wasn't able, I had to load a couple of clients that I was running Blue on that separate phone because it wouldn't, it didn't transfer from my, master key or anything else from my
So
personal.
now have you gotten the residence back and then instigated it on your phone again?
No, that's coming back on Saturday.
So it'll be interesting to see what's happening with your client list when you get it back then.
Yep.
Okay, you'll have to keep us posted.
And I have more questions for tomorrow night's business part.
Okay, good. And yes, somebody asked in the chat, yes, I am doing Minutes with Maria tomorrow night for business questions, definitely. Okay, Heather, did you still have another question? You're muted if you do.
I have one more.
Sorry, I went to your ATP, so I hopped off your screen for a sec. I
Okay,
was looking for that list of everything you had on the ATP website.
yeah, let me see, because I think Gwen
I
had to stop.
I can stop showing my screen so you can show your screen and go to ATP.
Okay, that would be great. Yeah, let's do.
Okay, there
Sorry
you go.
about that.
Okay. Let's go here, share. Okay, let me reduce you guys down. Okay, so I'm going to go here. Okay, so when you get to ATP 123, if you go over to the Your Device tab and click on that, you'll get to blue. Well, if you click on the your device, then go to the blue dot, because all of what we're looking for is in the blue dot app, the Analyze app. So click on that, and then when you scroll down, here are oops, down a little farther. Here you go. Here is all of the PDFs of all of the stuff that's not in your pink dot.
That is so awesome.
So if we want to click on Materia Medica, that's all of them. Then you can go in and research. We have that here. I do want to put the homeo int.org in here because that is right there. So it's already on there. So you can click and go to there. I was more
Guys are
organized
awesome.
than I thought
Thank
I
you
was.
so much.
Yeah, and so all of these are in here. Here's the amino acids, here's the vital substances, and there's a lot more than just amino acids. You've got your vitamins, your minerals, you have essential fatty acids in here. So again, then you can go ahead and if something shows, you can then research it.
They're really so like vitamin D and that kind of thing can pop up. I've never seen that pop up on mine, and I'm supposedly like deficient. So
Yeah,
that's
and it may not, I mean, because all of us can go to a pretty low amount of, I always think about when someone says they want to work on their eyes, but it's not showing up on the Healy. Well, your eyesight is not imperative to you living. It just isn't. Unless you have an infection in your eye socket that's affecting your brain, then maybe something will show. But your eyesight is not required for you to be able to live. So the Healy is going to bring up those things that are most relevant to you just sustaining optimum health. Eyesight is not one of them, even though we really enjoy it and we like it, but that's why we need to always add that in. So when you're looking at the amino acids, we're looking at protein builders. We're looking at a lot of other things that may not make sense on why does that show up over a vitamin D. You may have enough vitamin D to make it by. More vitamin D would probably be even more helpful for hormones and everything else that vitamin D is great for. But the other amino acids might have take a little bit more relevance based on whatever else your body's trying to do.
Right, because again, it's the top 5 that you need.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. So all of these have, you know, I went through and, oh, let me go to the iKing because that's what Christina was asking too.
Does
Could you
it
just go
say,
through
and I
that
haven't read
one
it
more
yet.
time?
Say that again.
Go ahead,
I'm
Brenda.
sorry. I'm sorry. Could you just briefly ATP? You go to
Oh,
the ATP 1, 2, 3, then you go to something on the right hand upper
Yeah.
corner.
So let me just go. I'll just go here. I'll go back to home. So we'll go to atp123.com.
Oh, your device, you said.
Yeah, go to device. So if you're here, then and you scroll down, here's everything that's up in those top tabs. Your first steps, getting connected, build your business, your Healy device. So here, everything is here as well. If you go to that up here at the top, if you click on device, it's going to bring you to the buttons that I just showed you down below. Getting started, pink dot, blue dot. So if we start there, then we can scroll down. This gives you all the information on Blue Dot. There's a lot that needs to be done because there's a lot of questions that still come up. So this is still a work in progress, everybody. But
Wonderful.
scroll down, and here's your extra programs.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I haven't
Thank
had a
you.
chance to read it yet and to really look at them, but like, does it tell you like what, say, the Alaskan gem elixirs, like what benefit that does for your body?
Yeah, so here,
I mean, just
aquamarine.
individually, but
Mhm.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
now I am just noticing, Christina, that I do not have the iKing in here, but I did have it in the advanced course. So I will make sure that I take that PDF and move it over here because I did, you know, find some different resources through Google that I put that together for the advanced workshop. So I will make sure that I get that on here. I'm glad that I'm going to make a little note to myself here. iKing.
Can you run specific elixirs or only what comes up on the scan? Can you run them individually?
You can't if you're
Or do you
vibrating
have
that
to?
category, but you could type aquamarine into your resonance, one of your blank sheets when you open it up, and you could type that in there. So that would be a way to run it specifically.
Okay, great.
Did that make sense? Were you on the call earlier when we were doing that?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, good. Yeah. Okay.
I remember in the class you said when you run a shorter time, it's stronger on the body, like a 2-minute one, or?
Yeah. So the way I like to look at it, and again, personal preference, because everybody's chemistry is different. And so everybody's information field is different. We all have varying levels of sensitivity, and we all have higher pain tolerances. We all have things that we block. I mean, all of us are so different. How I look at it though, is if somebody comes in, they taps me on the shoulder, I'm going to turn around and I'm going to look. And if somebody taps me on the shoulder, I'm going to turn around and look. But if somebody just is standing there doing this, I'm going to finally just kind of ignore it. Not that it's not helping me, but it's not gonna be as drastic. So the one thing I really love about Gwen's New Vision, her whole software program, is it allows her to go in and say, let's say you need this for 30 seconds every 15 minutes, or a minute every hour, or something like that, because it just gives you something and then it takes it away. And then the next time it comes, the body goes, oh, you know, the energetic field goes, oh, here it is again, opposed to something being run for 8 hours overnight. However, there's a lot of people who do vibrate long periods of time and absolutely love it. So yeah, I think really you need to sort of play around with it and figure out what works for you. But I feel like kind of like a homeopathic, it's the subtle nature of it that really comes in and allows the body to do something great with that. Gwen, do you have something to add to that?
Of course I do.
Of course you do, because we love you. Tell us.
my analogy for that is like, that's annoying as crap. If someone was doing her neck or whatever, it constantly doing it. It's like hearing that nagging voice. Like actually people do lose their hearing because of nagging. You know, if you have someone telling you over and over and over to do something, and isn't it funny how you can tell your child to do something 10 times and they do it? Because they've tuned you out since the second time you told them. And then they're kind of like blocking the information. And so I actually feel like not only is it annoying, but once they block the information, the information's blocked, and then it did no good. And so what I would even say is those little nudges are helpful. And I'm not going to say anything against the long broadcast, but if someone did a long broadcast every day and a week later, I'm just going to probably say it's not helping. I mean, I can't prove that. I can just say that, you know, it's the little bits of information. And that's also like with the prosperity broadcast that we're doing for you guys. If you're participating, is the information's changing and building and it's dynamic. It's not just like, I'm not sending something to everybody 24 hours of the day, every day of the week, because actually I also feel like that's not really very helpful. So, I mean, Maria and I both use the default of the minute on the Blue Dot app for a reason. I haven't personally seen that doing it. Well, I've never done it 5 hours, so maybe I can't say that for sure. But even if I've done it longer, because I have done a few cases with my dog where I've done 20 minutes or an hour, I didn't see it work any better than 1 minute. I think that's kind of maybe in our belief system. But yeah, I think it's just another person I know that knows a lot about this. You know, it's like becomes like, I'll give you another example. Like he calls it noise. And when there's a lot of noise, the body just starts ignoring all of it. Like I'll give you another example. How many people have went into like a massage MV or a massage place? And when you first go in, you hear that noise, that soothing, calming waterfall noise. And after you've been there 20 minutes, it's not even, you're not even aware of it anymore. It kind of blends in the background, you know, because at first it's like something new, something you're not used to, but then it just becomes noise and it's not really anything. Actually, I have them turn that off because I don't like it. You know, but if you sit there long enough, it just is kind of in the background. So that's what I would say is that you want it not to be in the background. If you're looking to improve someone's health, you don't want background noise. You want something that's useful. So I agree with Maria 100%. That's all.
That's all. That's all. Digital nutrition. Oh, go ahead.
Since I was in the class and that was all broadcast to me, I never participated in doing anything. It was like I completely shut down since the class. And now I'm just starting to try to regain myself. So does that mean it wasn't working for me?
When you say shut down, like, what do you mean?
Well, I went through a couple deaths and the dog dying and getting lost and getting hit by a car and burying her. And I mean, and then a breakup. It's just been just traumatic, trauma after trauma after trauma. I don't know what.
So sorry. Well, what we have to remember is that we are a very complex being here. We have planetary influence. We have biorhythm influence. We have our own mission, goal, spiritual, whatever you want to call that, influence. And so probably you receiving all of that, the vibrations that Gwen was sending was helpful, but it didn't feel like it because you were experiencing a lot of human stuff that seemed to be overriding it. I don't think it wasn't that it wasn't working. It's just, it sounds like you had a lot of stuff going on that most people might have been rocking in a corner with a blankie, and you probably fared really well.
Well, yeah. Thank you.
I'll share. I mean, I have a dog story, and I don't know if this will make you feel better, but because it's just the worst with animals for me too. Is about in 2006, I had, it would probably make me start crying, but I had a little Shih Tzu, adorable. Her name was Nikki, and she got killed by a chow, and she was like a year old, and it broke my heart. Like, I didn't know if I was going to recover, because I felt like, you know, I could have protected her or stopped it. But anyway, I won't go into the whole story of why that happened. And I was so grief stricken that I went immediately. And the last time I had a dog pass away, it was 20 years before I got another dog, because I was just so emotionally attached. And this time I was like, I'm not going to go 20 years and not get a dog. And I went and got 3 dogs. So it was Macy, Eddie, and Nick, and Coco. And Macy, who was the sister of Nikki, was that dog of a lifetime that we only get one of. It's almost like a soulmate. We only get one. And I got her because of Nikki passing away. Now, I don't think that, I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff going on in the planet and people choosing to leave right now, which probably has nothing to do with you personally, but you're still having to deal with it. But sometimes, I mean, I have lots of client stories that I could share, but I know that love of my life, and I wouldn't have got her had something not happened to Nikki. But at the moment of my despair and my grief, I couldn't see that this other dog was waiting for me. And another example I'll give you, and I know this sounds a little crazy, but y'all probably know I'm a little crazy anyway, is my sister is like me with dogs, and she had a schnauzer that was difficult. He was very aggressive towards strangers. He was kind of a maniac. And my sister's always ended up with codependent dogs. Like, she always has these dogs that are like maniacs, like bipolar dogs. And I think it's kind of interesting that she always attracts this one kind of dog. And I don't think it's an accident. But anyway, the dog was getting older, and she had to make a hard decision. And that is always really hard. And then she had a friend of mine who does astrology stuff tell her that basically that dog was also calling it like her male version of a male relationship. Like, as long as that dog was in her life, she couldn't actually be open to a relationship. And I know that sounds crazy, but right after that dog passed, she met her current husband. And she's told me that if that dog was still in her life, that she wouldn't be with her current husband. I know that for people that are not dog people, you probably have already thought I belong in the Looney Tune farm, but sometimes we have these relationships with animals or other people that until they're ended, we can't even see really what it was about or what else might come of it. And it's hard in grief and despair to see that. But I hope that for you, it opens up something new, or it gives you the chance to love another animal or have a different relationship, maybe with someone that had passed away, you know, like in a different way. So that, I mean, in the moment, it's very hard, but sometimes that support, like, I can't say it did anything or not, but I can say that we don't know, because without the support, I don't know how you would feel today compared to what you've been through. Okay, that's all again.
I have, do you know, I just pulled this up on my screen. Can you see all the YouTube channels on your phone?
Maria,
I can.
Yeah.
Maria, before we leave I wanted to thank, I think it's Christina, right? That lost the dog.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
On top of it, it really wasn't my dog. It was my boyfriend's dog. I've been dating him for 3 years, and the relationship has been up and down and 3 hours away. And it's just had my whole life turned upside down. But I was there with him like 6 months because of the COVID. I was in the country with him, and I got so close to her. You know, she was my dog too.
Well,
And then I lost him too.
Yeah. There's my neighbor has a missing cat in the neighborhood. And so I put out an intention, and which, you know, stay healthy, find your way back home where you're loved and cared for. She contacted a pet psychic in Dubai, and the psychic said that the cat was in a forest preserve. Well, we have a golf course across the street from our subdivision, so maybe that's what she's thinking. So, and it's a busy street. So I said, if you're at the golf course, go to the clubhouse and have them call mommy. Send us a sign that you're okay and help us find you. And then she calls them little one. I love you, little one. Follow the smell of home and you'll find your way. Everyone is your friend and there's nothing to be afraid of. So this cat is really skittish. And so she would probably run away from anybody. So we're trying to get the intention out there that she'll go to somebody that has seen the flyer and they'll call my friend to come pick her up.
If she has the cat box, have her put the cat box outside.
Yes, and we're calling them kitty condos. She's trying to cage the cat, and but you know, kitty condos. I have one in my backyard that we check frequently, and she's got one other in the neighborhood. And we're having rain now, but I suggested getting one of her garments that she wears a lot, and we'll put it on top of the condo. And because she had read where she's supposed to like leave a window open for the scent, for the cat
Right.
to follow the scent. But it's been pretty cold here, so anyway, we're still looking for the cat. It's
You'll
out on
have
a
to-
holiday.
You'll have to keep us posted.
Yep.
I'm
He's
glad
gone.
you added, I'm glad you added to come home safe, because I was vibrating her back home and she was trying to get home because she went pretty far away, but she crossed a busy street and
Right.
obviously a car hit her and her hip was all jammed into her spine. It was horrible.
Right. And that's why I wanted to thank you for that, because that put it in the attention to don't cross the street, go to the
Yeah.
clubhouse and have them call.
Yeah. I wish I had added the protection on there for her.
Yeah.
I thought just getting her home was enough, but she did make it quite a way, almost home.
Well, you'll have to keep us posted, definitely.
Okay.
Gwen, do you know which one of these was for the watch? I mean, I have this here, but I don't know that that was specific.
Not without going through them, I don't. I
Okay.
mean, that's, I haven't had time to do is go back and add comments, but if it's a watch, if someone just starts playing it and fast forwards through it, they're going to start seeing the watch screen. But yeah, I haven't had to go put the comments.
So Deborah, go here, go to the youtube.com, type in the search bar, Gwen&Maria, you'll see the little Healy circle. Click on that, it'll bring you here. This is our home screen. And then click on videos and I'll bring up everything so that you can go through and see which one it might be.
Where is that
Not
at?
talking about it from the beginning, or is it halfway through or towards the end, just to give me an idea of?
You know, it's like today we've been on the call since, you know, for almost 2 hours and we've talked a lot about a lot of different things. So I don't know that we devoted one Zoom call just for the watch. I don't know that we did that. Gwen and I have talked about getting together when things seem to calm down, which isn't happening, but we would like to start doing some 2 to 5 minute videos on specific things that we can put up here. That will happen. It's just not there yet, but we would love to do that, just where both of us can show our screens and we can just be, you know, a Zoom call with just the two of us where we're just showing how to do things. And then have a specific section here on the to-dos. But
Well,
this
one
is
thing
YouTube.
too, yeah, I could say that it wasn't one call. It was 3 or 4 calls and it would have been in July or August.
Okay.
So someone can go back, but you can fast forward and you're going to see the screen. And when, I mean, I might even have time this weekend. It's just, there hasn't been a week. I mean, it's like a weekend thing. It's not like a 1 hour thing.
Yeah.
I did have one person spend time to go through and give me notes on probably the first 10, but I haven't had time to go in and insert those notes into each video. It's just all time consuming stuff.
So
Can I
here,
ask you a
I
question
just,
on it? I got my watch in November, and it was only last week that the pages actually appeared in the pink app for the watch connector and also the DNA subscription
okay, and how long have you had it?
since November.
So what you could do is put in a service ticket. And when you go into your service ticket, you're going to, that's where it's my support center. It's the bottom right column. It's the bottom one. You say submit a new ticket, open it up. You're going to pick my subscriptions. I think that's there, my subscriptions. And then just ask them to activate it or ask them for a refund or to extend your subscription by a month or give you a credit, however they want to work that. You could have them refund for November since it just started working.
Okay.
They're getting faster on calls, which is nice.
Yeah, I bought the DNSC bundle and the Heal Advisor search app worked, but the other two didn't.
Okay, but now they're all working.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would put in a ticket saying for the first month or 2 months, I was not able to access the DNA portion. Can you please refund me or give me a credit?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and they're getting better. I know there's still a lot of people that have been waiting for a really long time to get their tickets answered, but they are doing their best to catch up. And I think they're the new is he the CEO for the United States, Gavin? He is all about customer service. So
Right.
someone asked where this is. This is on YouTube. So you just type in up here, youtube.com. And then when this search bar comes up, you can type in Gwen&Maria 2020. And then when you hit the search bar, brings you here.
I can't believe it's still going.
And then here we are. Okay. All right. Is there anybody, do we want to do anything for, while I'm on this page, do we want to do anything else on ATP 123? Is there any questions here? Any more questions about their Healy that we need to talk
Maria?
about?
Is there, I know at one time it was sent out like a grid sheet, or somebody had sent out a grid on all the digital nutrition, you know, all the programs and what's included in each program. Is that on ATP 123?
Your monthly subscription apps. So there's going to be videos about them. I don't think that I have put up any specific pictures yet on there. I would love to, though. I would love to get to where all of them are there and listed and what they're for. But there's at least videos that go through the descriptions.
Thank you.
One more question on that digital nutrition. If you put that intention in a blank space on a residence, couldn't that serve as what you're getting for vitamins or amino acids or anything?
Sure, you can definitely put that in there. I wouldn't stop taking your nutrition, but you might find that you are absorbing and utilizing the nutrition you are bringing in better because you now have a vibration that's allowing your cells to be more receptive to that nutrition when it comes in. I don't believe that it's a replacement. I've heard people say that I don't have to take my nutrition anymore. I think you can lower it because you're absorbing and utilizing better, but we still have an engine to run and that engine needs fuel. And I don't think we should discount that at all. I think we still need to be bringing in the nutrition. I think we can utilize it better and maybe reduce what we are bringing in. I think there's a lot of people that are doing therapeutic doses because that's what they have to do because their gut's messed up. They're not absorbing. It's not getting out to the cells. Their circulatory system has issues. And so we're having to take therapeutic doses just to get the minimal amount we need. I think the Healy can change that. I think that that vibration coming into your system changes how your cells receive that information. And that way it gets utilized better.
So what about the monthly subscription? Does that give you the nutrition you need? Because I've been doing the same nutrition for the last couple of years and I probably need to alter it some way. And I can't afford to get all these, all at once. So can the monthly subscription provide you with what you need?
I don't think that the vibratory rate will ever take the place of what our engine needs 100%. Again, I think that what we get from the digital apps are going to make the cells function better and more efficiently and more effectively so we don't have to take therapeutic doses. Because what I find when I'm having people sway test or muscle test is the bottle may say that they need 2 and really they need 5. Well, a lot of that could just be that their gut isn't absorbing and they're not bringing enough into their system to be able to be utilized. So again, I think we need to not look at this as this is a replacement. It's a way to enhance what we're already taking. I know that Gwen had said that she's, and I noticed that with me, I'm not drawn to a lot of the things that I used to be taking. I have a group of nutrition that I take, but I know that Gwen said that she's really cut down on everything she's had to take.
Yeah, I barely, but I agree with you, but I also agree that, if, some things like with digestion, like, I think everything helps, but if you do the digital nutrition, like, let me tell you what I think about it from certain angles. Okay. So I had my last client before this call today was a 17-year-old girl who has OCD, suicidal thoughts, depression, anxiety. She's an athlete. This has all been going on this year. She has super fatigue. She's a blood type A, and she eats one meal a day. And, these high school kids are training. She's not stuck at home. They went back to school already. But these high school kids train like semi-professional athletes. They have these crazy club sports schedules. And then when she doesn't eat breakfast, she picks at her lunch. She eats a normal dinner, I guess. And she doesn't take anything nutritionally. And she's had health issues her whole life, like since a baby, an infant, after a reaction to a vaccine at 18 months old. Okay, so you have a client like that. This is a typical client for me, learning disorder client, ADD client. Okay, so let me just give you an example. So let's say their brain's not working, or they have anxiety or depression issues. That's always amino acids, might be MSG sensitivity, but see, that's the deal, is when you go into Healy and you're doing amino acids, first of all, you have to know to run amino acids. So like the first key is knowing what to do to fix the problem. That goes back to the basic workshop that we did and all those handouts. But then the second thing is, what if they have an MSG sensitivity and she happens to like Taco Bell? Well, the Healy can't fix that. There's no program in Healy that says, and we're going to resolve your MSG sensitivity. So there's just a lot of reasons that people, might have other things going on. But I think that really the biggest thing is, like for a good for one thing, is people don't know what to run, like on the individual programs. Like the normal American doesn't know if they need phenylalanine, cysteine, arginine. I mean, how would you know? So I think that's the bigger problem, is what do you need? I mean, and unless you kind of research or dig into it. I mean, do you think that's right, Maria? I mean, how many people, I have sometimes people walking in with bags, like literally grocery bags of supplements, because they read 10 articles from 10 different things. And then 3 different people told them stuff. Their chiropractor told them something else. And now they're spending a few $100s a month on supplements. I absolutely do not think that's necessary. But on the other end, some people are dealing with very specific emotional and health issues that are totally nutritional. And I think the frequencies actually may work really good, especially bypassing the digestive process. But I still think it's like what we started the call with Les's reference to using right frequencies. If you're not taking the right nutrition or knowing which programs to run, I think it's the same. You're still not going to see results.
So I used to get biofeedback over the phone I'm in Arizona, but the man was in Chicago, and he would figure out what I'd need. And I'm still kind of taking those, but I've run out of a lot of things and I just can't afford to do it now.
Well, I'm not suggesting you don't use the digital nutrition. I agree with Maria, though, that let's just say, I mean, it depends, because let's say someone's a vegan. Let's say you guys don't eat beef for whatever reason. Then you have to make up for that somewhere. You can't just be a vegan and not supplement, because that's not going to work for your brain and your mood. Or let's say you're a blood type A, so you have kind of an aversion to meat, but that's everyone that's anxious and depressed. So I just think that there's somewhere that you have to concede, whether it's supplements or foods. And most Americans eat the same foods over and over. They have the exact same breakfast every day, the exact same lunch every day. There's no variety And if you look in their cabinet, it's the same crap. They're not eating kale, they're not eating cauliflower, they're not eating broccoli, they're not even eating really maybe they eat one fruit occasionally. So they're not getting minerals. I mean, so if people are not going to take interest in their own diet and their foods and eat real food, then of course they have to supplement. So I think it's not a standard answer. I mean, if I have someone send me a food log and I know what their symptoms are, I can make recommendations. But on a call like this, we can't say, well, everybody needs calcium, because that's not even true. So to me, it's a depends, and it depends on, going through some type of assessment. Now in the basic workshop, like I said, that Maria and I did, you can pretty much figure out what you need based on how you answer a bunch of questions based on just basic symptomology. But besides that, it's really hard to tell unless you do spend some money on expensive labs. And I think labs are also as good as that day and time. If someone does labs tomorrow, but they had a cheese pizza tonight for dinner, their labs are going to be skewed, because the gluten might be messing with the rest of the lab factors and might show things that aren't normally the case. Even that cheese pizza could make their cholesterol look artificially off when maybe it's not normally. So anyway, I think it's a big answer, but I think it's unique to each person. And I do think that people that eat a varied diet, they're eating lots of meat and fruits and veggies, and they're really not avoiding a food group, I think have a better chance of not supplementing.
Hey, Gwen, I'm going to have to jump off the call because I've got snow and a half-hour drive home and another Zoom call to be on. So I'm going to say good night. There's probably a couple of extra questions in the chat. Go back and look at Gwen's last email that has minutes with Maria tomorrow at 4:30 Mountain Standard, 5:30 Central, talking about business. We can talk about whatever, but I'm going to have to Zoom off. So
yeah, Maria, we've been going 2 hours, so I'm actually ready to go too, unless someone has a pressing technical question, because we're going to be on again next week. But these calls can just go and go because there's so many good questions. But
Daylight's had her hands raised for quite a while. Daylight, do you have a really quick question?
Yeah, I had two questions about the nutrition app. I thought I saw you guys kind of give a demo of how they condensed the individual nutrients into mixtures. And I thought there were 6 of them, but I only have 4. Did they change that? I only have 4 mixtures in my program, and I've updated.
And see, I renewed before they went down to the new. So I have all the digital nutrition that was there, even the singles. So I'm not sure exactly what is, maybe somebody who else is on the call that has the new one can tell if they've got 4 screens or if they have 6.
And the
Yeah,
other
I still
question,
have
maybe next time, I really wanted to hear, you made some decisions, I think, to focus on the vitality as opposed to the nutrition in terms of the subscriptions, the new Healy Vitality.
Oh, the revitalization?
Revitalization, that's it.
Yeah, I have that, and I haven't delved in, although I do like the pages and I like what's on them. I feel good when I run them.
Okay.
But
yes.
yeah, I run the gamut. I use the watch for a diagnostic tool, and so I'll run, the tension and the anything that has to do with the heart rate variability. I'll run those, and I also have the revitalization, so I'll pick and choose on those, and then I'll run the scan for the pink apps and run those too. So yeah, I'm kind of
I had someone in my
all over.
I had someone in my downline trying to debate between that and the nutrition app for her particular situation, and I just was looking at some point if you want to do something that kind of gives us a distinction of what that's all about. That'd be
Yeah,
great.
I would love to. I'm going to try to delve into the revitalization more this week so that I can actually have like a PowerPoint on it, so we can kind of go through it. I would love to have that as on our YouTube channel so people can go in and watch it. But yeah, I can definitely pull up the different screens. I just don't know exactly what the new screens look like because I have the old DNA. I purchased it before they brought the price down and condensed. So,
Okay.
And
All right.
but I
want-
can research that.
Maria, I
Thank-
want to say that Chris went back and looked at the video. So thanks, Chris, for doing this. I see in the chat that she said the watch is on July 29th.
Oh, awesome. Thank you
Yeah.
for doing that.
Maria,
Yeah.
somebody had asked about the chart. There was a chart one time put out and it had all the digital nutrition on it.
Oh, I love that. Where can I
Oh,
find that one? Do you know, was that in a Facebook page somewhere that I can grab a file?
I think it was on one of the other Facebook groups.
I'll look. Because that's awesome. I would love to put that up.
I could also send it to you.
I'll
tomorrow.
look for it.
All right.
Okay, I'm going to jump on this other call. Love you guys and see you next week. Minutes with Maria tomorrow night at 4:30 Mountain Time if you want to do some business building. So
Thank you, Maria.
you bet.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks you guys. Have a good night. We'll be back on next Tuesday. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Thanks, Gwen.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're welcome. All right,
Thank
y'all
you.
guys. You guys have a good night.
Have a
Thanks, y'all.
great
Be
night.
safe.
Be safe. Bye-bye.